Hey, what's up, guys? It's the same OG. Last time I shoot a video here, I don't know why, but the video came out inverted somehow or on the side. I don't understand why. I'm really sorry about that. I just wanted to to mention it now. So I just want to keep going with this theory, ways to play, and this principle today is a well-known principle. It's called failing forward, and most of you know what it is. It's really important, quite common, well used. Other people use this principle, this idea, and it's really efficient. When I first started role playing, I didn't have much experience, and I was like facing some issues during play, and some of these issues were that sometimes the player were getting stuck because they fail a role, and the consequence of their failure is that they can't achieve something, and because of that impossibility they ended up somehow stuck. And then it was happening, it's not happening all the time, but when it was happening, it created this situation where, as the GM, I had kind of like to, not GM fiat, but like twist stuff and reorganize things and just kind of fluff things out just in order to make them going again. And the result of these manipulation from me as the GM created render the failure irrelevant. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow, I'm really tired. So the idea was that they fail, and the consequence of their failure is that they cannot do what they were trying to do, and it make the player stuck in a situation. And in order to keep the game going and kind of like put them back on the out of the situation, I kind of had to manipulate things a little in such a way that it render their failure irrelevant. And that was pissing me off. What, like, fuck, it's just. And the whole idea of task resolution and conflict resolution, I have been talking in this series on and off, is kind of also important here, because when you approach roles and situations as a player and as a group and as a GM, in a task resolution perspective, task-based wise, this is the kind of stuff that happen, right? It's like you want to do something really trivial and pragmatic, you fail, you can't do it, and it creates some kind of frustration somehow. You've tried it, you fail, it's not happening. And I find this binary fail success way of approaching RPG, storytelling, dice roll, not satisfactory, not sufficient, not interesting, not powerful, narratively wise. It doesn't provide, like, this pass fail thing doesn't provide a cool, rich experience, and it's not it doesn't bring consequences to the table. It doesn't bring consequences to the roles that you do, because you succeed, so you achieve what you wanted to do. And then when you fail, you just can't do it, and there's nothing else about that, right? So I was stuck in that situation, and it was frustrating when I was a player and when the GM does that, and it was frustrating for me as a GM when I felt like I was like putting the player in this situation. I find it cheap, right? There's something wrong about that. And so I don't remember exactly where I learned that failing forward principle. I think I was at PAX, you know, in conversations with gamers. It's not clear, it's been a while. But as soon as I started to implement this idea in my games, like the experience became way more interesting, way more fun, way more surprising, way more intuitive, way more like it was richer, you know. It was more fluid. Things were moving faster in a way that is you know, in a way that, you know, in a powerful, it's kind of like a powerful device, narrative device, and a way of utilizing the roles and the failure. Because a failure doesn't mean you can't do it now it means you did it exactly the way you wanted to do, and then you bring a complication, then you bring a consequence, right? Doesn't mean that sometimes you don't just fail, or you know, you don't provide that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's cool to force the player or the character to be stuck in a situation sometimes. I mean, obviously, but I find that most of the time the idea of failing forward is solves a lot of issues, makes things way more dynamic, right? And so failing forward is one of so the failing forward principle is basically just a way to frame dice roll in such a way that they actually help you moving the narration, instead of just stopping the narration for a pass or fail result, right? And so you can do that with any games. I mean, the failing forward principle, I mean, again, there's always like some games out there that there are special rules for failure, special structure and stuff like that. So without denying these rules from these games, you know, it's possible to incorporate it somehow, right? And so, you know, if you start to see the other principle slowly, you start to understand that it's like the whole idea of ways to play is that it's modular. You don't have to pick all these principles. You can choose these principles for the experience you want, you know. But personally, me, I kind of like I always, you know, if it's possible, I always bring them all to the table, because you know, each of these principles solve some of the issues that are really annoying in the experience of RPGs, and allow for a play that is, I mean, way more efficient. It's just more efficient, you know. It solves all kinds of issues, and like so I was talking about these old school game, right, recently on this channel. The fact that I'm going back to these old school traditional games with these principles in mind, with this new approach of playing them, and I just find gems from the past. Now I see myself playing these games and have fun. Things that a few years back I was not even, you know, able to see myself playing these games because of all the inherent issues they produced without this fresh attitude of mine that I start to understand the way I see how to play, you know, the different ways to play. And what I like with the idea of these principles in general, and more to come, is that they don't change the rules. They're not house rules. Like, I mean, maybe you could call that house rules. I guess so, probably. I don't know, but it still allow you to have the raw experience, and depending on the game, doesn't change the experience that the game is trying to portray. Some of these principles sometimes, depending on specific needy details in the rules, might become contradictory or in the way. You just don't have to use it, and just go modular, and then you can go around it. And yeah, I mean, so yeah, failing forward is amazing. Failing forward, it's just allows you to just like surprise the player, the character with. But the thing with failing forward, why some people are afraid of it, is that you kind of need to improv. It's based on improvisation. There's a failure there, so you need to bring a consequence, right? So you say yes, you got it, but so you need to kind of like right on the spot, boom, come up with something. Some people have difficulty with that. There is a problem also with heavy prep and stuff like that, where everything is so structured and so organized in advance that these consequences that comes out of failure are not part of the plan for the GM and stuff like that. So some people, it might be hard for that reason, but otherwise, I mean, it will help you just make shit way more fluid and cool. All right, thank you for watching, and talk to you soon.